ABC Local Radio right across Australia tonight. I'm Melanie Tate. Now, we're having a resurgence of love for Elton John over the past few weeks here on Evenings, and we thought who better to take us through his music and his life than a man who makes a living being Elton, Greg Andrew. Now, Greg travels Australia with the Elton John Experience. He is one of the best Elton John impersonators in the world, and he joins us now from Launceston, where he was meant to be gigging tonight, but is actually unable to, and technical dramas. And then tomorrow night, Greg's going to be in Hobart. Greg, welcome to Evenings. Thanks for your time.
Thanks very much, Mel. Wonderful to be talking to you.
Greg, do you remember when you first became aware of Elton John?
Yeah, well, I can remember one of the clearest memories I've got would have been around 11 years of age, around that time where I started playing Candle in the Wind was the song that I actually played, so on the piano. Mm-hmm. And so that, I think from that age, opened the wonderful music of Elton up to me at such an early age.
So do you remember thinking that you sounded like him or anything like that?
Not at that age. I came, it was basically from wherever I performed over Australia in a previous, I used to do a lot of piano bars in a lot of the resorts and casinos all through Australia. And no matter where it came from, no matter where I went, people used to comment to me about my look and how I sounded. And so that led to me really looking right into it, as much as I loved the music of Elton John and Bernie Taupin. But it was really the crowd, the people, wherever I went, they thought it was uncanny how much I sounded like Elton John and even looked like Elton John.
So when you decided to put together this Elton John Experience, what kind of, a lot of work must go into being a tribute artist. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, starting from scratch, obviously I was aware of a lot of the songs and I actually played some of the songs. But when you do your homework to really go into it, the arrangements of the songs, and not just how the songs were written, say some of those great songs from the 70s, but how he actually performs them today. He might extend something here or a different solo that he puts into another song. That sort of attention for detail for the live performance is what I pride the show on, because the experience I want to give people is just that if you've been to an Elton John concert, I try and give the performance that's very, very close to a real concert. And conversely, if you haven't been to one, it's as close to an Elton concert that I try and deliver. But on the costume side of things, that's always an ongoing thing. With my show in particular, is more from my look that suits me, and what everyone else says is really, really uncanny in the closeness of it, is really from the late 90s, mid-90s, late 90s through to now. So even in the latest run of jackets he has now with the Swarovski crystals and all that, we go to great detail in mimicking those exact outfits.
That must cost some money as well.
It certainly does. I've got there's a wonderful friend of mine now who lives in Melbourne, and she is an absolute wizard with designing these costumes. So she's an incredible Elton John fan herself, and so it's a labour of love for Michelle. But she actually, her detail and having a dressmaking background, that's what she does. It's just a blessing in disguise to come up with these outfits, because the attention to detail and the knowledge she has about getting these jackets exactly right is just wonderful. And you can tell when you wear them, the audience, they know it's very close. It must look wonderful on stage. Obviously, wearing them, I only see videos or photos of them that have been there, but I'd love to, obviously with wearing them, you don't get the true effect.
I tell you what, I was watching some videos of you before, chatting with you today, and if you ever get sick of that pink sequined jacket and it needs a home,
like that one?
Yeah, just let me know. It was amazing.
Wonderful. Well, look, before I retire that, I'll make a note on that one.
Thank you so much.